So in this video, we are going to learn about what's called radians, which is another angle measurement. So the best way to explain it is really just to show you. Basically, it's called a radian because it takes the radius, so I'll show you this video, it takes the radius of the circle. So here we have our radius, we're going to wrap it around the circumference, and that distance creates what's called 1 radian. Okay, so 1 radian is actually really just 57.2958 degrees, roughly. But it's really cool because if I take 3.14 radians, it matches up with 180 degrees. So pi radians is 180 degrees. So we don't really use decimals as much with radians. Instead, we use radians in terms of pi. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. If I can get this to line up. There we go. Okay. So, as I said, we're really not interested in we have 1 radian. Instead, we're interested in having it in terms of pi. So here we have 0 radians or 0 degrees, and all the way over here we have 3.14 radians or pi radians. So that means at 90 degrees, or halfway to pi, we would have half of pi, or pi over 2. So pi over 2 is the same angle measurement as 90 degrees, just as pi is the same measurement as 180 degrees. So what is at 270 degrees? Well, we have 1/2 of pi, 2/2 of pi, 3/2 of pi, or 3 pi over 2. And then we get back to the beginning, 0 or 0 radians, 0 degrees, or we could say 360 degrees, which is the same thing as 2 pi. Right, 0 or 2 pi if you've done 1 full rotation. So let's take a look at some other really common angles in radians. Over here, once again, we have 0. All the way over here would be pi. And this time, if you look at the top half, we can see that it's been divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So that means one of these slices would be 1/4 of pi, or pi over 4. Halfway, we still have, right, so this one's pi over 4. This is still half of pi, pi over 2. But if we're counting in fourths, 1, 2, 3/4 of pi would be over here. Using the same system with fourths, this would be 4/4, which does become 1. This would be 5/4 of pi, or 5 pi over 4. This would be 6/4, or still 3 pi over 2. And then 7/4 of pi, or 7 pi over 4. All right, let's do one more. In this one, this time pi has been divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slices. So if this is pi, that means this one little pizza slice is going to be 1/6 of pi, or pi over 6. Which means this would be 2 pi over 6. But that simplifies to pi over 3. Okay, this is still pi over 2, halfway to pi, 90 degrees. Okay, let's go back to the 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4/6 of pi. But 4/6 does simplify to 2/3 of pi. Okay, so we would use this one. Okay, 4/6, 5/6 of pi. 6/6, which is 1. 7/6 of pi. 8/6 of pi, which becomes 4 pi over 3 after you simplify it. This is still 3 pi over 2. Okay, or 9/6 So that means this is 10/6, and this is 11 pi over 6. But this one does simplify to 5 pi over 3. Okay, so these are the most common angles that are going to be used in radians. Eventually, you will most likely memorize them. So, if you don't want to memorize them quite yet, you have some time, you can convert. Now we know that pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. So we use that as a ratio to convert from radians to degrees or radians or degrees to radians, right? We have both of them. So if I have 40 degrees, I want to get rid of the degree symbol and I need to bring pi in. I need to change it to radians and get rid of degrees. So I would multiply by pi, but divide by 180. And then you'd simplify. 40 divided by 180 simplifies to 2/9, and then I have pi. If I'm starting with radians, like pi over 9, I would do the opposite. I need to get rid of the radians, or get rid of pi, and bring degrees back in, 180 degrees. So when I multiply this straight across, I get 180 pi divided by 9 pi. Pi divided by pi is 1, and then 180 divided by 9 is 20, so 20 degrees. So if I wanted to change 100 degrees, I would need to multiply by pi, but divide by 180 degrees to get rid of the degrees. This becomes 100 pi over 180. I can simplify. 10 over 18 becomes, let's see, divided by 2, 5/9. 5 pi over 9. Okay, if I have negative 5 pi over 6, this is in radians, and I need it in degrees. So I would divide by the pi, but bring in degrees, 180 degrees. So I have negative 5 times 180 times pi over 6 times pi. Well, pi divided by pi is 1. 180 divided by 6 is 30. So negative 5 times 30 is negative 150 degrees. Let's practice drawing these angles. What we need to remember is that here is 0. This is halfway to pi, which is over here at 180. And this is 3/2 of pi. So if I have 3/10, I know that 3/10 is less than 1/2, right? 1/2 would be the same thing as 5/10. 1/2 is right here. So that means this has to be in quadrant 1. It's somewhere in here. I could do the same thing with pi over 9. I know 1/9 is definitely less than 1/2. So once again, it's somewhere in the first quadrant. If I have negative 7 pi over 6, let's actually just change that. Let's just start with positive 7 pi over 6. 7/6 is greater than 1/2, and it's also greater than 1. So remember, here this is half of pi, this is 1 pi, and this is 3/2 of pi. My angle is 7/6 of pi, so I know that's bigger than 1/2, bigger than 1, but less than 3/2. So somewhere in that quadrant. Why don't you go ahead and give number 12 a try? Thanks for watching.